What's up, everyone? It's Carmen Johnston, aka Mrs. J, aka Queen Carmi, aka DJ Carm Brulee, here and ready to build knowledge with my two amazing co-hosts. I am a Black woman born and bred in the Bay Area. I am a proud Gen Xer, radiant English professor, and pop culture enthusiast. I have a bachelor's in liberal studies and master's in English creative writing, both from San Francisco State University. I've worn several hats at Chabot College, ranging from co-founding the Change It Now learning community to co-leading the Chabot Collaborative for Equity and Professional Growth. Mostly, though, I'm interested in transformation by holding space for difficult conversations that will ultimately move us all closer to a more equitable college and more just world.
Hey, this is Sandra coming to you direct from Hayward, California, the heart of the San Francisco Bay Area, where I was born and raised. Who I am in a nutshell. I am a first-generation Chicana in the U.S., also the first in my family to go to college. My parents are immigrants from Mexico. I have a bachelor's degree in Chicano studies from UC Berkeley and my master's degree in counseling from Cal State Hayward. I have been a California community college counselor for the past 20 years. I provide academic, career, and personal counseling in one-on-one sessions, as well as in college success courses. In these Brown Bag podcasts, my intention is to share my experiences working with my community and my college students. You will meet some of my mentors and awesome colleagues who have motivated me to continue doing the work that I do.
Hello, my name is Monique Williams. I am currently an English instructor at Chabot College. I work with the Emoja program. I am the tri-chair of the Student Access, Success, and Equity Committee, and I am a member of the CCEPG. I was born and raised in Hayward, California, and I am a proud Chabot College graduate. I earned a BA from Mills and an MA from San Francisco State, but I never left Chabot. It's my home. And I have been a part of the institution in many different ways. I've been a student, an administrator, and now I'm a teacher. I have had the privilege of seeing the college through 3 different lenses. I joined the Brown Bag podcast because of the 2 women I get to be in conversation with, Sandra and Carmen. These women, with a lot of care, teach me more about how to best serve the Chabot College community. I hope listening to this podcast will give you the same opportunity for growth that each conversation with these women gives to me.
So I'd just like to say welcome to all of you to the Brown Bag podcast. And we really appreciate you being here. We know that right now at this time of the semester is super busy, and I'm sure you guys are all panicked about something, as we are too. So we really appreciate you. If we could, like we always, like Carmen was talking about, we always start the show with something that's new and good. And so if you could please tell us like what's new and good for you, and also introduce yourself, like who are you, what program are you from, those types of things. All right. Who wants to start?
I guess I'll go first.
DJ.
Well, my name is DJ. I'm a student at Chabot College. I'm a student assistant for Emoja and as well as the BCRC. Also, I'm involved in MSK, my Sister's Keeper program as well. One of the good things I've been happy to be a part of is just like getting more involved in my community and learning a lot more about my history and just speaking up and having a voice. I used to be like kind of the quiet person and didn't really speak up or wasn't really interested in being involved in too much and just like laid back and did my thing. If we want change and I want a better future for my children, that I have to start with myself and try to sculpt my community into what I want it to be for my children. So that is just as good as we can get, you know, from what's going around from COVID and just like, you know, people are going through a lot of depression and then just a lot of losing funding for schools. There's just so much going on right now. So it's just like, it's kind of a light to like be able to try to like vote and be involved in my community, help my peers, and just like little events. Like we went to the Emoja conference. That was really fun. And I've been learning a lot, like different ways to um, even just like writing essays and stuff, just little things like that. Like my whole life has like been like a kind of like a 360. So I'm just getting, used to that and just trying to, you know, find some more positive light in the dark times.
Nice. Thank you, DJ.
Mhm.
So, Julian and Joseph, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what's good?
My name is Julian, and I'm part of the SBBC Striving Black Brothers Coalition here on campus at Chabot College. That's good about me, or just good in general. To me, it's just life, just living life, just the good of it, the bad of it, just being able to live it every single day, waking up happy, even if I'm not happy, just still being able to go through it in life, be able to get over that path, that struggle right now, but no matter what it is, whether it's academically, physically, no matter mentally, whatever it is, just being able to get over that, just to live life every day. Because not everybody got to experience what I'm able to experience. So just being able to experience that is just a good thing to me, just right now.
Mm, beautiful.
Awesome.
How about you, Joseph?
Yeah, my name is Joseph Levy. I'm a student at Chabot, like everybody else. I am the president of the Striving Black Brothers Coalition, as well as a member of the ELPS program and the Moja program. Um, some things that like have been working for me is just being in college. I didn't really like high school. I felt like it was too slow, it's kind of too easy for me. And being in college, I've really enjoyed myself and just all the experiences I've gotten to have, and just even being in the programs I have. I'm constantly busy and constantly moving, but that's the way I like it, and it's just been very fun and just a blessing just to do all the things I've done.
Nice. Thank you. Carmen, you want to go or?
Yeah, I can go. Let's see. Well, something that's giving me life right now is I'm teaching a book by Octavia Butler in my class. It's called Parable of the Sower, and I've been teaching this book for a long time at Chabot, probably about, I don't know, 14 years or something. And I never really thought I'd be the instructor that is using the same book for a decade, but it's just so good. And students really, really like it. And it just does. There's just so many things that this book, discusses, and so many ways you can go, so many themes you can connect to. It's just an amazing book. And Octavia Butler is really an author that everybody should know and be familiar with. I mean, I think in English, when we talk about the literary canon, it tends to focus on like what's considered the classics, and a lot of white men. And I think there's actually a lot of people, a lot of amazing writers of color that deserve to be in that canon. And she is definitely one of them. And she is, people call her the grandmother of Afrofuturism. So I just love teaching her, and I'm just enjoying how much my students are enjoying it. Like, it's a very quiet class, and now they have a lot to say. So
Oh man, Parable is so rough.
like, it's so funny. A lot of you English instructors say that, but I feel like it's so hopeful. It's like this young Black woman that creates her own way of thinking and living, and like leads all these people. And she's like 17 years old. Like, I don't know what could be more. I don't know.
Yeah, it does have hope. It's just like the time.
Very inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring, right?
Yeah.
But the times are real.
Yeah, it is real. It's real.
It's real.
Yeah, it's very real.
I think I got, like two things that are giving me life. The rain was wonderful. Like, I just love it. But also like just sitting here in this room with you guys, having a conversation. We're all Black scholars, like sitting here in a room together, and we get to have a conversation about education. And it's been a long time for me. I went from teaching in Emoja, where my classes were mostly Black, to now teaching general classes in which like I'll maybe have one or two Black students, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like let's talk, let's hang out, right? Like, and so like this is just like giving me life. Like being around educated Black people is just so wonderful. A room full of people that are like going to take on the system together. And I think that's just wonderful. I'm super excited about it. So again, thank you for the day. I think like we have this conversation that we wanted to have, because I was telling you guys earlier that our institution has gone through this kind of like different times or different levels of support of African American students, and has been looking at the data around the success rates for African American students, and seeing that there's a need, right? A need that we need to kind of like step up and find ways to better serve the community. And in recent time, the institution has stepped up in many ways. You guys have named some, right, of those ways, because you're all a part of something that kind of really supports Black students on this campus. So we wanted to talk to you guys about what supports do you currently feel the institution has, and how have they helped you, right? How does this institution serve you well? So any of you can answer.
I have to say, how it served me well, it's probably like just all the programs that they have for Black students. I actually tried to attend Chabot twice before, a couple years back, but I was going through a lot, and I wasn't offered any of these, these programs, or even mentioned or anything. And I expressed my my concerns and things that I was going through and needed help with, and the support I needed. And I still wasn't referred to any of these programs. I actually was referred to it by my friend who went a couple years back. She's actually about to graduate from SF State and start her master's program. So she actually referred me to it, because I was like, I just don't have no support. I need help, and I need something to help me get through, because I just don't know. It's been a long time. I graduated in 2010 from high school, so I'm going back in now as 30 years old, and not really. I'm very unfamiliar with the education scene, as you could say, maybe. So these programs like Emoja and ELPS and MSK, they have really supported me in helping me get the supplies I need, the tutoring, and just like support, having somebody there to talk to and get, advice from, and things like that. And that's been really important for me, and been a really big crutch in my time at Chabot and me succeeding. So that's been a really good thing that's helped me. I do feel like that general counseling and maybe Chabot, like when you apply, I feel like you should be offered all these classes, like they do. Don't they ask you, I think, maybe about your race and where you're from or whatnot? So maybe if those things pertain to someone, just like maybe just throwing those in, because sometimes you might not be offered these things. And I think it's really important that people do get this offered to them, or be aware of what they have around them to support them. I really think that's very important, because that made me be able to become successful in college and keep continuing on and getting good grades and stuff. So I think that's really important, and that's been really helpful for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with DJ on that. For me, the programs have been the biggest support system at my time here for me at my time at Chabot. Just that not only do they give you many opportunities to succeed and resources and community to grow with, they also teach you about college, teach you how to go to a 4-year, how to go to HBC if you want to, how to go to a UC, how to go to an out-of-state school. So just understanding and just teaching you about like the different resources and tools that you can use and every student should use in college has just been the biggest thing for me, like personally, and just seeing my peers and other people I went to school with and how they struggle due to them not being in the programs. I see a clear difference.
So yeah, like I also agree. Like the 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 programs that that I'm a part of, it's like they help you a lot academically. Like if you know it's like you need help with anything, like they got tons of tutors, people to read over your work, you name it, they probably have it, but like they don't also only help you like what academically either. Like if you got like some mental stuff going on, they have people actually can go to get help with that therapist that can work with you, tell you what you can do, and try to work with you on it to help you improve. Like there's tons of things you can like talk like you need someone that just to talk to, just get something off your chest. They got that, but then like also like my peers have been saying like there's a lot also that they can help you with academically. There's tutors, there's just ways for you to go to other colleges, whether it's 4 year uh states, in-state school, out-state schools, probably possibly even out of country school. Just like a lot of support systems, no matter like if you need help with anything academically, outside academically with yourself, anything that you just want to improve on, there's tons of resources that you can use just to help you.
I just wanted to ask you all, just listening to you talk about the programs that you're a part of and like the different things that they offer, like tutoring or, talking about 4-year transfer. And, for people listening, they might say like, well, we have a transfer center or we have, the learning connection. What do you think makes it like different or special or unique that it's, that you guys are accessing these services through like a Black lens, like through the BCRC, through SBBC, and through MSK? Like, why do you feel like it's necessary to have these programs specifically for Black students? Like, what makes it different from just like going to the Learning Connection or something?
Oh, that's a good one. That's what I wanted to talk about too.
Oh, great.
The reason I feel like it's different is because you have all these relationships with different people and they actually care. They text you, they check up on you. You're not at class. Hey, DJ, you okay? Do you need anything? You need help with anything? Are you all right? You okay? All that stuff. Just checking in with you. And from like general transfer counseling, all that stuff, you don't get that. Like you get a little email. Don't be late for your appointment. You have an appointment with me, and you might see them once a year. Or something like that, or once a semester, or twice a semester, or something like that. But there's not that support, that community, that family feeling, and feeling that sense of belonging to something. Like, I'm not just like another student. They know me by name. They say hi to me on campus. Like, just hey, oh, you hungry? Hey, here's a meal. Oh, there's this book. Oh, did you miss this in class? Here's some stuff. They talk about this. They talk about that. Like it's a community. And you can't replace good relationships and community people that are around you like that very easily.
What about you guys, Julian and Joseph? What do you think like makes it different?
A lot of the same things DJ said, agree with. Just the genuineness that they show for the students and just the care that they take and just how they actually wants you to be successful, wants you to succeed. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm just doing a job. Here you go. Just do this, just do that, and just go. And it's like, if you're a first year student and you have no idea what to do, just telling somebody just what to do without giving them any direction or even being a guide is not very helpful. So with the programs doing that, it's a complete difference. And also a lot of them looking like me, being people of color, that's more of a thing where I can relate with. And they've gone through the same things. They've gone through the same struggles. So they can talk to me in a way that I'm going to understand and pick up the information in a better way because they've walked in the same shoes as me.
Such a good point.
Like I also like agree with what my peers say, like especially Joseph, what he just said his last point kind of took what I was going to say, how like they're as other people of color, the same race as us, they probably have gone through the same struggles that we're going through right now. Like they've already experienced it in their life and have been able to get down on the point of what it is that we have to do to get to the next level, what we need in order to get to the next level, because they've already gone through it years ago. But now that they've come back in order to help us, Now they know the little ins and outs of what it is that we got to do to get to the next level. Like just like they're also people of color. If we got a question, like because they're more likely they're gonna try to help us 100% more than somebody else that's just doing it as a job because they want to see us succeed as Black people, as people of color. They want to see us succeed and get to the next level and do something great with our lives. So they're gonna help shout out and help us with whatever the issue is we got. They gonna put their all into it to make sure that we good with it. Even after we transfer, after we get done with the problem, they're still gonna check up on us, make sure everything good, everything's still rolling smooth. You got if they ask you like if you got any need any help to let them know. So it's like this they have a constant just wanting to get you to the next level, to get you above where they're at.
It's like we're their children. Like they stick up for us. They're there for us. They're like our second parents, or our second auntie, uncle, or whatever the case may be. We relate to them. It's definitely, I definitely agree with them.
Yeah, I hear that sense of family that you all are talking about in community and belonging, and also just some way of really being able to tell that somebody cares about you and cares about your success, and a challenging thing for faculty sometimes to communicate caring. So it's just cool, when that you all are feeling like you are with folks that, are showing care for you.
I think along the lines of what Carmen was asking, like in ways you've talked about how, these programs serve you differently in a way that, like you could feel really cared about and genuinely kind of feel supported. Part of this podcast is to inform instructors on can they be better, right? How can they do more? And so maybe if you can share some of like the experiences you have in the classroom that might be different from classrooms that aren't focused on Black students, and how some of, like what are the things that you see and do in those classrooms, or that you see and feel from your instructors that really kind of help your success. I think knowing those things might help people try to want to learn how to do those things. Right?
I think maybe having the diversity in the things that they teach, not just one-sided, because I've learned a lot of the stuff, the other side of things, our history and what really like went on that they didn't even mention or even go on the tip of the iceberg of, and I think that goes back to like us being able to relate and, being able to like identify with something. And I think that's really important. That really helps me too, be like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Oh, I see how they feel or what they were going through. Oh, that makes sense. Just just bringing diversity and more like feeling like you're equal to your peers in a sense.
Joseph, Julian, is there anything that your instructors do that kind of stands out to you? It's like something that helps you learn.
Just the way that they bring the topics and just the lesson plans is different. It's real interactive. I'm not really good at learning by just somebody just telling me, here's the lesson plan, figure it out and just go by there, or just have them do something and not really show me how to do it and them just writing it down and telling me to copy it. So the just interaction, the talking, like getting our own feedback on what we want to learn about, what we want to talk about. We've only dreamed about talking about in like high school and stuff that we haven't had the opportunity to talk about. And now that we're in college, in an environment and in a community that's open and wants the students to succeed in a way that fulfills them, is just the best thing that I've experienced.
That is so beautiful. Can you tell us some of the things that you dreamed of talking about that you now get to talk about? And can we just like hear some of those things?
So specifically in my English class, we've talked a lot about Black history, and we've talked a lot of, which is talked about continuously, but we also talk about a lot of the history that's good for Black history. Growing up, I've mostly experienced during the classes them talking about the bad, oppression, slavery, talking about the civil rights movements, talking about how things was always tough for us and this, that, and the other, and which is real and which is very important for us to understand that history. But to me, it's also important to understand where you come from and just the achievements and successes that your ancestors and your people have had over the years. Also, just getting to see that bigger picture, deep diving into your own mind, figuring out who you are, giving more of an understanding of the person that you are currently and the person you want to be. I know we wrote an essay how one version of yourself wants to do another thing and the other version of yourself does this. So I basically spoke about being a Black student and a Black man in America, and while trying to deal with all the criticism and all the things and all the speculations that come with that, while not even doing any of that and just trying to be the man I was born to be, struggling with that. So had I not ever experienced a classroom like that, I probably would have never talked about something like
Yeah,
that.
it seems like it's really important for instructors to create opportunities for students to just get to talk, about what's important to them and, make connections from the material that's being presented in class to their own lives. It just sounds like what you were able to do in your English class.
So we can get to the portion of like, what do you think we need to improve on as an institution? You guys have given us snippets of that and saying kind of like what is going really well. And especially DJ, you talked about how like, maybe counseling can just offer these things up front, like maybe there's some way that these things can be kind of really visible, right? So that someone new on campus isn't just kind of running around hoping that somebody will see them, right? But that they're seen right away. But what are some other things, some things that you think like as an entire institution, maybe like, what I've noticed just in this conversation is the services you're getting are really dependent upon whether or not you're able to be in these programs or not, right? So what about the Black students that aren't in these programs? What do you hope the entire institution can do to serve every Black student, whether they're in a program or not?
I think that they just can implement these things in all the classrooms, just little things here and there. Doesn't have to be like dramatic and just be solely based on Black students, but also not even just Black students, like Asian, Latin students, like every race, like everybody should have the opportunity to feel like they fit in and feel like they have opportunity represented in the classroom, things that they can relate to and feel like they have somebody there for them to help them, those relationships also with the teachers. Like, I feel like it's so formal kind of with some teachers, Moshe teachers and everything. I feel like I know them. I feel like that's my, like my friend, like I can talk to them, like, hey, da 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 da, whether it be another teacher that like is kind of really formal and like, hey, do this, do that, like copy this, copy that. It's hard for us. And, we don't want to speak up because we don't see any type of effort being presented to us as well. We're shy, we're scared, we're scared out here in this world. A little comfortability, I guess you could say.
Seeing more faculty that look like us, that we can relate to all around the campus, not just in a specific space. Having those who in your shoes before you and even being like role model and even a mentor for you, while you can build a genuine bond with someone who's already gotten your major or degree or anything like that, could have a mentorship. I feel like a mentorship program would be great here. Having someone who could meet with you on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or whatever it may be, and just being able to talk to them and discuss what they're going through and how school's been going and how life's been going, and just looking at more past just the school side of things and looking at it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
How the school can improve for us is like just a guidance in life, like not only while we're in school, like after we go to school, like teaching us while we're in school, the stuff for after school, right? Like right now we're in a community college. They could help us in life for the 4-year colleges, how they work, how the classes look like, the homework, the test, quiz, all that, how they can help us with that. But even outside of school, what it looks like to get a job, a good job. How does it look like to apply the job? How do you keep the job? What do you do after? What do you do during the job? Just stuff like that. Like, how do you, like the main things that we're going to need in life, right? How to get a house, stuff like that can help us in life while we're in school, that we can learn it now so that when we're out there, we're not it's not new to us. Like we already heard the stuff that we need to do, stuff like that. But that's like also while we're in school, when we're in class, right? For like a history class, like when they're teaching us about African American and Black history, not just, that they should teach us not only the history in America. Like we know a lot about what happened like in America, the slavery, all that. They should teach us our history in Africa, where like how it first started, how it first came to happen. And like throughout the years, the changes that happened with us, what happened with us, right? How we built the pyramids, all the statues, like, but then some of the people in the class they might not know like why that we built it and why the certain statues look a certain way because like what happened. Like they should go into like greater detail as to like what happened. And then like when they're also teaching us two sides of the story, because always going to be two sides of the coin. Like when you look at one person, what did they think was going on, what the other side thought was going on, whether it was good what that was going on, whether it was bad. You should always get like both sides to see so you can get better detail as to what is going on, better history as to what happened.
It's really powerful.
Yeah, it really is. It actually like all of you make me think of something that happened when I was a student and I was trying to get instructors here to listen to students about, like the types of books they were giving, the work they were giving to students, how they were teaching in the class. They put all of us who had made this documentary for women. We had made a documentary. They put us all up in front of the entire college. So all the teachers were watching. And then at the end of the documentary, one instructor had screamed out towards the stage. She said, "So now you want us on top of our job to care about our students?" Yeah, it was like out. Like for one, I already knew in some ways that some people didn't care, right? But it was really painful to like know that someone felt like they could actually say that out loud in that way, right? Like that wasn't part of the job. Like, and our answer, all of us kind of answered in our own way, but our answer basically said that like, do you know who you're teaching, right? This is a huge, large community of color, and communities of color work on trust, on love, on, compassion, on, like togetherness. So if you don't care, then you're not going to get what you're trying to get from your students, right? If you don't care, you're going to keep seeing this constant, like failing on your part, right? Of like students not being able to connect, of students not being able to understand because they don't feel care or trust, right? And like this is like you said, DJ, this is so important not just to the Black community but to other communities of color, because we've had to band together to be able to be successful in an oppressive system, right? And so if we don't feel like you're with us, there's always a certain level of distrust, right? Until we know that you're with us, right? So if I'm sitting in a classroom and I don't feel like the teacher cares, I'm not going to ask questions, right? I'm not going to come to your office hour. I'm not going to, like invest my time. And it just seemed, it was so baffling to me to think that caring was going to be like such an added, like such a hard thing to do. How dare I ask for that? Like it was just like crazy.
I feel like caring would make it easier, like they're going to want to be engaged. They're going to want to learn. They're going to want to, laugh and chill with you, like have a relationship. And it's some things that are just that simple, that small to some people, right, that you feel like, oh, why should we do this? And it has a big outcome if you just do those little things. Hey, how are you today? Just, I don't know, just little things.
Right. I think there's been a big, I think, over the last decade or so that there has been more of a shift of having instructors who care and hiring instructors who specifically want to work with community college students and who really are invested in the success of community college students. But I think previously, because this is college, I think people who are, maybe attracted to teaching at the community college are attracted to maybe the prestige of it, the status of it. Maybe they're very passionate about their content and not necessarily the students, the community, right? Like if you're K through 12 instructor, if you're going to be a kindergarten teacher, you better like 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. Like most of them go into it because they like a specific age group. They like working with young people. But I think on the college level, the content area drives it more. So people might be like, oh, I'm really into biology. I love biology. I want to get everybody into biology, but they may not have a sense of the community that they're serving and like a passion for that community. And I think that's where we get into trouble that Monique is talking about with the caring, because they may not have an affection for, this community, may not even know this community or understand, a diverse community of poor working class students of color that may just be so far from their experience that they don't even know how to this particular community. So that's a big issue. But I'm glad that I think things have changed so that more, we're attracting more instructors who do care, tipping the scale a bit.
Yeah, I think things have changed and our hiring practices have changed. But I do want to say that if there is an instructor listening to it that feels like if any part of your body goes like, oh, but my content, I don't know how to do that because my content is so important. It's like, please, like take a deep breath and recognize the student first, right? Like recognize that like your content will go nowhere. Like your content is not, it's not gonna hit the way you want it to hit. Like if you deeply love your content, like if you deeply love your subject or what you want to teach, then you need to deeply love your student so that way they can get on that same page with you. Like let it drive you. Go ahead, let the content drive you. Like let it drive you. Let your love of, math, history, English, let that drive you. But know that if you want it to hit the way you want it to hit, that in this community, like for one, get to know it. Right? Like you got to, but also like love them, they'll love it, right? Or they'll at least try to love it, right? Because if that's the goal, why people withhold this thing sometimes, like this caring or stepping back because they want the content, they really, really want to teach this XYZ, right? When it's like the thing that you're really, really holding back is the thing that's stopping you from being able to communicate that thing that you have a huge value for, right? Like in my class, if I want people to learn thesis statements so bad, right? I just want them to learn it so bad. Me hammering over and over and over and over again how to learn a thesis statement, just that skill is not going to get them anywhere until I actually start tapping into caring about how they use a thesis statement in their world, right? How they use a thesis statement in their life. How, like conveying my care and why I need them to learn that. Like DJ said, it just seems like it would be easier, like if you started from knowing and loving the student first and then showing them how to love your content, right? But I don't know. That's my rant.
We were talking about in our communications class, like something like with the teachers, like we felt that is instructors, they should take a communications class. And, there's also the communications, I think of different ethnicities, international kind of communications, where you can just learn how to communicate with different races and different people from different places. And I think that's just like something like that, or like an orientation for instructors, just as a community, has something that maybe could show them, because maybe they just don't know how. And that can maybe give them a couple tips and steps to just implement in their teaching. Nothing like so crazy, and then they can go further into like maybe doing communication classes. Maybe they should require teachers to actually just do that, at least a basic.
Yeah, and I think, I want, you all as students to know that there's that to be hopeful, right? Because we have this organization, this collaborative that I'm a part of, and we are, hosting institute right now called Practical Anti-Racist Teaching Institute. So we're working with a group of instructors around these issues and talking about, how do you communicate caring? How do you, break your lessons plans up so you're not just lecturing? How do you, invite students in and create these inclusive spaces? And so there's a lot of, and to people listening, there are a lot of resources out there. If you don't want to, join party, there's a great book called Culturally Responsive Teaching and the Brain by Zaretta Hammond that, because I think part of it is like you can combine the content and caring. And I think that this book by Zaretta Hammond really does offer a model for how to do that. There's also a new standard that's come down through the state about equity teaching, about being equity minded in teaching, that it's something that we're all going to have to start doing. So I think there's a lot that's on the horizon and a lot of people on this campus that are working really hard to try to get more instructors, being more thoughtful and equity minded and engaging in all of the issues that you all are talking about. And at the same time, there are some that aren't, My hope is that there'll just be so much of it that either you're going to get engaged in it or you're going to have to figure something else out, because this is the way that we're moving, right? And we need everybody in this world. We need everybody to be engaged in this world to figure out some really big problems that we're facing on this planet. And we just can't afford, to leave anyone behind. And we can't afford to have supremacist attitudes so that some people get left behind, because we need everybody.
I think DJ, you started us out talking about, your hope is that the future becomes better, and that's part of the reason you're here. And I think that, like I told you, I've been here at Chabot for a very long time as a student, all the way to now an instructor. And there has been a shift, and people like Carmen have created, and Carmen and Kristen and CCEPG and people involved in SASE and all that on campus have created those shifts that are really positive. And now the state's actually trying to create it too, which is great. And I think that people like you guys, I hope that, you don't forget Chabot, and that, in some way we always, hold out our arms to you. And in any way that you can, you come back and you maybe mentor, maybe, be a part of the program or be the leader of the program or teach or, whatever, it's always good to keep that community going and connected. And so I'm so glad we got to meet you today. Really glad. Now we get to say hi to you on campus too.
Very nice to meet you guys too.
I had one, another question for you all, especially you, Julian and Joe, because when you all were talking, I heard, oh, it'd be great to have a mentorship program. Or Julian, when you were talking a lot about finances and about, how to get a job, and it would be so great if we had more financial awareness programs. I mean, even my daughter's I want to learn how to balance a checkbook. I want to know how to make a budget, these life skills that you're talking about. And I just wondered if there were any other programs that you think the community college should be offering to its students. Should Umoja be offering a financial awareness class or, something like that? Should they just be embedded in these programs? Or do you think there's additional?
I think that, all of them, the whole need for just afterlife, what Julian was talking about, all those things for life skills. People don't know basic things, and we go into this world and we don't know what to do. So I think that's a really important thing for us to have, just life skills class on many different things: etiquette, financial, and family, and housing, and just everything.
I think especially for communities of color, right? Nobody talked to any of us probably about how to get an IRA. I still don't know what that means. Just hear people talking about it. Nobody talks to us about those things. And then we end up in situations where we are losing out, we're not able to create the generational wealth that other groups are able to create, or we're not able to get the stability that other groups are able to get, even with a college education. So I think Julian did bring up a very good point in talking about what other things do we need to provide that maybe aren't necessarily considered academic, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm doing my research project on, to my research essay.
An IRA?
For our English class. No.
I was can you help me out?
Generational wealth, Black business, and, Black wealth, just us having a stream of our sense of royalty that we come from,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I have a book for you called Our Own Kind. And I can't remember the author's full name, but it's Grant. I'll send you a link to it. I used to have it in the Umoja offices. Now I don't know where I have it. I might have it in my office. But it talks about that. It talks about actually extremely wealthy class of African American people since the beginning. And and how, like, we're never taught about that.
It should be like classes available to everybody, not just like a certain group of people, because like I don't learn this at home, like the financial stuff, how to get a house, how to get a job, apply for a credit card, all that information. Like if I don't learn that at home, I just have to learn it on my own, right? So I feel like if I was able to learn it in a classroom with somebody that's professional at it, that knows the ins and outs of it, I feel like it'd be easier for me to learn it that way. And then like when I do go into it, it's easy for me to know. I know like the ins and outs. And also, I feel like with the financial stuff, like it should be like also like maybe embedded into that class, like how to save money. A lot of people they get like let's say they was to get a $50,000 check. A lot of people probably will spend that in the first month of having that. Like I feel like if you learn how to save a lot of money, then that money they would like to grow as time goes on. You can invest into different businesses to grow your money. Like if you learn certain stuff like that, our chances of having more money will constantly increase than what it was before, because like we know how to get money and to save the money, not just spend it on stuff we don't need.
Yeah, those are like such important points. And I think a lot of, most Americans don't know, are still trying to figure out how to save and, how not to incur a lot of debt. I mean, those are just such important skills. I'm taking a course right now that's called The Trauma of Money. And it's just talking about how our trauma really impact how our relationship to money, and it's really, really powerful and profound to learn about just some of the things that, may have happened to you that create a mindset that you bring to your relationship to money. And I think all of us deal with that. It's like exactly what you're talking about. I know as soon as I get paid, it's so hard for me to like not want to spend everything. I'm so glad it's auto pay. Just get those bills paid automatically, because it took a long time to figure that out. So important.
Auto pay has been a blessing. I love closing shopping.
Yes, it's so hard. And I think money is such a taboo subject. Like people don't even really talk about it, and they don't talk about their own challenges with money, or even their own triumphs of the things that they've figured out. We're all really, I don't know, kind of private about it. And it really needs to be something that is talked about more.
For sure.
Yeah. So at the end of the podcast, we always just say something we recommend, something we want to recommend to our listeners. And it could be, connected to the conversation we have, or just a general, like something you're really digging right now that you think that people should check out, like a television show. That's what I always talk about, or song or album, movie, book, anything, activity. Does anybody want to go first with like a recommendation you have?
It's cool if I go first.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so like a recommendation kind of like I have that kind of helps me, like let's say like I'm going through like a bad time, so that I can like maybe watch that can like help me get out of it. Watching like YouTube videos is like a good way to get out of like the slump. And I hear like a lot of people say that, like, oh, they watch like a certain YouTuber like and they help them like get out of the slump. Like a certain YouTuber that can help you because he's energetic, he's funny, mainly because it's me. I feel like it's Juice White T, and that's it's capital J, lowercase UFRO, and then capital YT. He makes jokes and stuff like he can help you. Like if you're feeling down like a certain day, like it's good to throw on his video or watch it a little bit. And like you don't have to specifically sit down and watch the whole entire video. Like you can put it to the side, just listen to it, do your chores, homework, whatever it be. Just listen to him.
So does he like tell jokes or
different types of videos? Like he'll do like I do like a reaction video. Okay. Like I'll play video games. I'm at work, do like a workout video. So he does different types. So he usually does like a different variety of videos, and like it's I'm playing a video game, right? And then like I see something funny, like I can make a joke about certain things, or if I'm in a video, I'm reacting to something to bring life to the video. I'll make jokes about it or anything. Just to make jokes, just make it a good vibe when you're watching the video.
Nice. Cool. Sounds fun to check out.
I recommend people write and have a journal to write in, just to write in about anything that they're going through, anything they want to talk about, or even writing short stories. I like writing short stories from time to time. So helps get my creative juices flowing, I guess.
Oh. Well, I hope that you'll take some creative writing classes here.
I'm thinking about it, definitely, yeah.
So journal writing, yeah, that is such a great outlet, right? Especially if you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to. What about you, DJ or Monique? What are your recommendations?
For people to just stop and take a moment for themselves and take care of themselves, especially when you have a busy schedule or you have trouble focusing or you're unorganized and you just need a moment, you're sad, happy, or whatever the case may be. Just to take a moment for yourself and take care of yourself. Do some things that you enjoy. Do some things that make you feel good. We get so caught up in the life and we don't take time for ourselves and what we want and what we need. And it's important because if we don't, then who's going to do it?
You're so right with the self-care. Definitely have to be on top of that.
I'm gonna continue on with the self-care thing. I was thinking, for one, I can't find any good shows, so I'm hoping that you're ready.
Wednesday was good.
What is
yeah,
it?
Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it good?
Yes, the Addams Family one. It's
okay. Good. I'm gonna watch it now. I was like, I'm out of shows, but I think I recommend aromatherapy. You don't have to go to a spa for it or whatever, but just keep scents around you, like the little bottles of essential oil. Or I love that here on campus you can just pick a thing of lavender and crush it up in your hand. It's such a quick way to regulate yourself. To just kind of smell something and feel good again or feel bright again or energized or something like that. And right now when things are kind of hectic, we're ending the semester and there's a little bit of panic happening. I just every once in a while will take something and sniff it and feel okay again. So just finding quick little tools, I think, and aromatherapy is one of them to calm and feel good again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to activate those senses.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
What about you, Carmen?
Well, I will tell you all, one of my favorite shows, I think it is actually the best comedy that's out right now, is coming back for its third season, and it is called South Side. And it is on HBO Max, and it is so funny. It is about these two brothers that work at a rent-to-own center in Southside Chicago, and just about the shenanigans and antics that happens. They go and they have to repossess a lot of people's stuff sometimes, and things happen, and there's some cops on the show, and it's all black. It's Chicago. And it's just hilarious. It's to me, it reminds me of maybe in the vein of The Office or Parks and Rec, but just black folks from the south side of Chicago. That this is The Office to the third power with black people, just on some
even better. Oh my God, I have to watch that. I love The Office and all those shows.
Oh, this is hilarious. I think it's the best comedy that's out right now. It's just hilarious. I recommend it. I think it's coming back on next weekend, but there's 2 seasons on HBO Max now. So it's an Office comedy in that way, because it's about their rent-to-own thing, but it's hilarious. Yeah.
Have you guys seen Abbott Elementary?
No.
That's a good one. There's 2 seasons on, I think, right now.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. So Southside is like that, but to the third power.
Okay.
Even crazier than that. You want to catch up?
Yay! Carmen came through.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that. I do have to watch that.
Yeah, it's fun.
I forgot about Rent-to-Own.
Exactly. Right. So.
Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you talking with us today. Is there anything that you wanted to say that maybe you didn't and you want us to get in there? Or anything you want us to know before we get off?
No, I'm good. Let's keep fighting for, what we need and what we deserve. That's all I have to really say. It was so nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, and Julian and Joseph, we didn't see your face. So when you see our faces on campus, you're going to have to say, hey, I'm Julian, I'm Joseph. Okay. All right.
It's great to
thanks for having me.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you again, hopefully. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, for sure.
All right.
So bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
No problem.